Let's have a look at a couple of industries, a couple of worlds. First is healthcare. So monitoring devices like Apple Watch, Oura Rings, Fitbits have been around for quite a while. They get better and better every year. And they will do, increasingly, a couple of very interesting things. Eric Topol, a doctor, a very prestigious doctor who's made quite a good career out of being rude to other doctors, says that we will get to a point where doctors are no longer sort of sages that we all have to bow down to and listen to and do exactly what they say. We will give them data, we'll give them information about ourselves rather than going to them for the information, and they will become coaches, and we will become the CEOs of our own health. And we could finally turn healthcare into healthcare and stop it being sick care, which would be a great thing. And in case you're wondering, the best place to put a monitoring device? In the ear or in the rear? Meet Alexander Javronkov, who's from Latvia, not from Russia. He is the founder and CEO of In Silico Medicine, which is one of the number of companies developing drugs using AI. And his three-stage process has proved beyond question that if you use AI to develop drugs, you can do it much, much more cheaply, much more quickly, and with much less risk. So he's developed a drug, and I'll get this wrong, it's for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, yay, which is now in clinical trials. And he did it in 18 months and for a few million quid, whereas normally it takes over a decade and billions, and 90% of drugs that make it to clinical tests don't work. The super tankers that we call drug companies are trying to adopt this, but it's going to be quite a slow process. But when they do, the benefits will be enormous. At the same time, AI is making basic science discoveries. AlphaFold, a system developed by DeepMind, owned by Google, has worked out the folding behavior of 200 million proteins, which is pretty much all the basic building blocks of life on Earth. Ray Kurzweil, probably one of the world's most famous futurists, has been saying for a very long time that by 2029 we'll have something called longevity escape velocity, which means every year that passes, you get a bit older, but medical science gives you a year back, which means you don't actually get any older, which means death is kind of permanently postponed. And as the science gets better, then we can rewind our age. Now, Kurzweil is quite controversial. A lot of people think he's crazy. I think personally his timelines are usually a bit late, but he often does get things right. Last week I spoke to the chap who invented the term longevity escape velocity, a man called Aubrey de Grey, who I understand has been here. And Aubrey is now increasingly optimistic about LEV. He thinks it may happen in 2015, but what he thinks will happen 3 years from now is that we'll have laboratory proof that it's possible in the form of therapies for mice. Now, mice don't live long enough to have LEV applied to them, but you can take a middle-aged mouse, say 2-year-old mouse, and give it an extra year of life. And if we can do that, using the therapies that can be applied to humans, humans are going to start waking up. It's going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show. When the world realizes that actually we might all live to 1,000 years old, or maybe our kids will live to 1,000 years old, that is going to be an earthquake. And an awful lot of people are not going to be happy about it. A lot of people will say, hey, you're playing God, or this is just a rich man's fetish, or you're going to overpopulate the earth. And I think there's going to be the mother of all culture wars about this, and we're not talking about it yet.